Okay, so Chandrima, we go with the fluid mechanics snap now. Tell me, for what do you want this snap? You got some call from somewhere?
Yes, sir, for IIT Bombay Energy Science Department and IIT Bombay Chemical Engineering Department,
Okay, Chandrima,
PhD.
I want these both are PhDs, huh?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. I want you to tell me about your background first, your BTech in branch, your CGP, your gate score, your category, and then I start with fluid mechanics.
So, my BTech is in power engineering. In
Mhm.
that specialization is in thermal engineering, mechanical part. And my CGPA is 9.04. My gate score is about 600. And yes, and general category
Okay, so this 600 is with mechanical engineering gate, huh?
with engineering sciences.
Engineering sciences, XE, which is called, right?
Yes, fluid
Okay,
and
hmm.
thermodynamics.
You have appeared with fluid and heat transfer, right?
With thermodynamics.
Fluid and thermodynamics.
Yes,
Great. So, Chandrima, how many marks did you get in that?
I got 56.
56. Okay, good. So, this is the only paper with which you wrote it, huh?
Yes,
Okay. So,
not prepared with mechanical.
any other calls you got other than energy science and chemical department?
I have got from IIT KGP School of Medical Sciences.
Mm-hmm.
They are working on microfluids and lab on chip devices. I have got a call from there. And I gave an interview for IIT Gandhinagar Mechanical PhD department.
Okay, so these interviews you already faced. Okay, so let me start with your BTech final year project. Can you tell me something about that first?
Okay, sir. Uh, my BTech final year project was based on wettability engineered metal mesh to capture fog from an industrial type cooling tower. So, in industrial cooling tower, a large amount of fog is released in the atmosphere. And when this fog is released, some amount of water particle, which is in the unevaporated form, is also released in the atmosphere. And so this is a cause of water loss in the power plant. So this project was aimed towards if we can harvest this unevaporated water back and we can use it back in the power plant cycle. So we in this project we made a makeshift laboratory model of a cooling tower with the help of a nebulizer, and we used metal meshes, stainless steel metal meshes, to uh, put these metal meshes in the cooling tower such that when the fog strikes the metal mesh, the water which is unevaporated, it deposits on the meshes and it rolls down to the collector.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if we have to increase the efficiency, we have to change the wettability. That is, we if we make the surfaces hydrophobic or hydrophilic, then maybe we'll be able to increase the efficiency of the collection efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
So by chemical etching process, we tried different methods and we got hydrophilic and hydrophobic meshes,
Mm-hmm.
superhydrophilic and superhydrophobic meshes. We checked the contact angle. We got the superhydrophilic meshes of less than 10-degree contact angle,
Mm-hmm.
the hydrophobic meshes of almost 154-degree of contact angle. And then we use these measures to see which one is giving better efficiency and try to get some conclusions from there that why it is so.
Okay. So, what was the ultimate conclusion you got in your project?
We got that super hydrophilic meshes were having more collection efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Reason was because the water droplets had much more adhesion towards the meshes because of hydrophilicity. So the dripping of water droplets from the meshes due to gravity was not there. So the meshes, the water rolled down to the collector without premature dripping beforehand. And
Okay. Tell me, Chandrima, this what is the angle of contact of the water?
water, it is 0 degree.
0 degree. That is
It
for pure
depends
water, right?
it depends upon the surface we are putting the water on. For suppose if you put water on a glass, then contact angle will be different than we if we put it on wood. So it depends upon the we are putting the water and also the atmosphere where we are putting it. It
So do you
depends.
think angle of contact depends upon the basically surface on which we are putting the liquid?
It depends on both the liquid and the surface.
Hmm. So like, can you tell me the angle of contact for mercury?
For mercury, it will be if we put mercury on a glass slide, it will be like more than 90 degree. It is a non-wetting liquid. So
Hmm.
almost
So, so,
1,
so is the angle of contact also depends upon the surface tension?
yes, it depends upon the surface tension. These are related things because surface tension is because of the cohesion forces between the molecules, and angle of contact is also if it is wetting, a fluid is wetting, then adhesion forces are more. If it is non-wetting, then the cohesion forces in the molecules are more.
Okay, my question was, is surface tension dependent upon angle of contact?
Yes, it is dependent.
But then we say it is a property of the fluid. In that case, it becomes even dependent upon the surface on which you are putting your liquid. Then surface tension for any fluid will keep on changing, and it won't be property of fluid.
Uh, Surface tension, I think contact angle depends upon surface tension, but surface tension itself is independent. So I think it
Contact
works like
angle depends upon fluid actually.
it depends upon the surface tension and the fluid properties, but surface tension itself is uh, independent of the contact angle.
Okay, so there's a surface tension and wettability relation, right? Wetting the surface. So what is that relation? Directly proportional or inversely proportional?
If surface tension is
Is
more,
more.
then it will be surface, the forces will be more, so it will be non-wetting.
Non-wetting. Okay. So can you, Chandrima, tell me some engineering application where you require more surface tension and where you require less surface tension of the fluid?
Uh, um,
Okay, let me tell you some cases. Like I'm painting the wall. I'm using the paint,
yes,
right,
yes.
for painting the wall. So paint manufacturer, companies of paint manufacturing, they want to have high surface tension of the paint or less surface tension.
They want the paint to spread on the wall better. So I guess most uh, it should be surface tension should be less. It should be
Hmm.
able to spread.
But up to what extent? If I reduce the surface tension, up to which extent it should be reduced? Is there any limit for that, or it should be? What happens if I keep on reducing the surface tension?
Then the consistency won't be proper, and
No, you think of paint. I'm making a paint, and to enhance the spreading or wetting of the surface, sticking behavior, I reduce the surface tension. But what is the negative effect of that
um,
for paint?
it will it will keep on spreading if it is if we don't have a particular consistency.
What do you mean by keep on spreading? You mean to say flowing?
I mean to say, suppose if a particular wall is supposed to be painted in a particular way and another wall is supposed to be painted in another color. If we have very good surface tension, like very less surface tension, then this color will spread into that wall. There won't be any difference. That is one thing I can think of right now.
Okay. Do you know what is capillary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, should I
Yeah.
capillary right is
Explain
actually
explain the capillary function, capillary phenomena, and what is its relation with surface tension? Are both
uh,
related?
yes, both are related. And
Mhm.
capillary effect is the phenomenon in which if we put a small diameter tube in a liquid vertical to the container in which the liquid is kept, we can see rise or fall of liquid compared to the liquid which is kept in the other container.
Mhm.
And this rise is because of the adhesion forces and fall is because the cohesion forces dominates the adhesion forces for the liquid. And this capillary height is directly proportional to the surface tension. Like whatever liquid is rising in the tube, there is actually balances of forces, like the weight of the liquid and the surface tension. So both the forces balance each other. That's why a particular height the liquid rises.
Okay. So suppose I give you a capillary and the neither liquid rises nor fall. What must be the reason for that?
Uh, mm,
Is the question clear?
uh, yes. So either it might be that uh, surface tension is zero for an ideal fluid. It won't, or maybe the height is not enough. Sufficient height is not there for the liquid to rise.
No, no.
Uh,
Capillary has sufficient length. So I give you a case. Water will rise in the capillary, right?
yes,
Mercury will fall in the capillary, right?
yes.
Will there be any fluid with particular surface tension in which neither there will be rise nor there will be fall? And you agree that the surface tension of neither water is zero nor mercury is zero. But these two are giving you different phenomena, rise and fall. There must be some liquid with particular surface tension which actually is between the surface tension of water and mercury, so that it gives you neither rise nor fall. Is that possible?
Uh, Capillary rise is depending upon surface tension, contact angle, and the density of the fluid also.
Yeah.
So if any of these properties are manipulated in such a way that height does not change, we can have that.
Okay. But then where is the capillary phenomena?
So capillary phenomena is because the liquid has adhesion forces to the solid surface. So that's why it rises. And if the diameter of the capillary tube is also very large, we won't be able to see the capillary rise phenomena because cohesion forces will be much more dominant than the small adhesion
Okay,
forces.
now suppose there is a capillary tube and liquid is rising in that, right?
Okay.
Liquid has risen to the height of h. Now cut
Okay.
the capillary at height h by 2. What will you observe?
It will fall till the height it is h by 2, it will fall.
It will fall means
Matlab the water will be only till the height of h by 2
why?
because the basic of capillary is because of adhesion forces. If the wall is not there to rise, then there won't be any rise in the water level.
Then what about that formula h is equal to 2 sigma cos theta over rho gd or something like that? No? There's
Yes,
a formula. Yeah.
h is equal to 2 sigma which is equal to 2 sigma cos theta by r rho g. And this r is the radius of the capillary tube. We can also write it in terms of the radius of curvature of the meniscus that is getting formed. And if we
Yes.
write it, then if h is becoming 0, that means that meniscus ka radius is becoming infinite. Matlab it is
Mhm.
flat. So if it is flat, then it won't rise. And
Mhm.
when we cut it, that's what happens.
Hmm. So that means liquid will never come out of the capillary, right?
No.
Okay. So capillary phenomena. Can you tell me some applications, engineering application of this phenomena?
Uh, I know plants use capillary action to transport water,
Mhm.
and um,
Can that be, I mean, modeled for engineering? Can I raise the level of water through capillary
yes,
action without using pump?
yes, we can do that. If we like, we can do that because suppose if we put water in a beaker and then we put tissue paper in that beaker, which is connected to another beaker which is empty. After few times, we can see
Suppose I
that the
take a nanotube, very small diameter tube, nanotubes.
yes,
Then liquid level can rise up to kilometers of height, because it is nanotube.
yes,
10 raised to minus 9 meter is the radius or diameter, suppose. So it will go to kilometers. But can we, I mean, raise that liquid and collect that liquid at that particular height using nanotube?
Capillary forces will be there, but then there will be viscous forces also in the nanotube, and they will be much more dominant at such small diameters. So it will depend upon that also.
Okay, so Chandriman, tell me something about Bernoulli's equation.
Bernoulli's equation is an energy conservation equation. In that, should I tell the formula?
No, you
It is-
just tell me about it, Bernoulli equation. Yeah.
So it is energy conservation formula for liquid. The assumptions are that the flow should be steady, it should be incompressible, it should be for between two pipe sections, the flow should be irrotational and it should be non-viscous flow. Then the summation of the static pressure, dynamic pressure, and the hydrostatic pressure will be a constant value.
Which terms, these three terms you said? Static pressure?
P plus dynamic pressure,
What is dynamic pressure?
rho v square by 2. It is like
And what is the third term?
hydrodynamic pressure, rho gh.
Hydrodynamic pressure. So all these are pressures, or head?
Pressures.
So you said there are three terms, rho gz, one is rho v square by 2, and what is the third one?
P, pressure.
Okay. Are you sure this is giving you right equation? Please write all these three terms. Dimensionally are the same. P, rho v square by 2, and rho gz.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is the unit of all these three terms?
Pascal, Newton per meter square.
Okay, that is a Pascal. So you are writing this entire equation in Newton per meter square.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So why you said rho gz as hydrodynamic pressure?
Hydrostatic pressure.
Hydrostatic pressure. Okay. And what is P?
It is static pressure.
What is the difference between the two?
Static pressure is the normal thermodynamic pressure, which is because of the collision, and hydrostatic pressure.
Okay.
Is
Now take a tank. Take a tank, and at the bottom of the tank, tell me all these three terms. What are these three terms at the bottom of the tank?
Okay.
What is P? What is rho gz? And what is rho v square by 2?
If it is if nothing is moving, then if the fluid is at rest, then this rho v square by 2 will be 0, and the P will be P atmosphere pressure plus rho gh will be the height of the column into rho g.
Okay,
Height
so
of-
P, that is static pressure at the bottom, is equal to atmospheric pressure. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
But pressure at the bottom is not atmospheric pressure. It is more than that, right? So how static pressure is different from hydrostatic pressure?
Static pressure is due to the collision of the molecules, and hydrostatic pressure is due to the weight of the liquid column.
Okay, so when you calculate the atmospheric pressure, then there is a pressure in air. But once you come into the liquid, the molecules collision of the molecules in liquid is different from collision of the molecules in air.
Yes.
How can you say P at the bottom of the tank is equal to atmospheric pressure?
I mean, if the pressure top is like whatever is the pressure in the container, that will be uniform. Static pressure will be uniform in the whole container, and then each color pressure will change according to height.
Okay, so if I ask you to write this Bernoulli equation across a pump, how shall you do that?
But there is some work done on the fluid, so we have to include that also, and plus if there are frictional losses, we have to include that also.
Okay, so you will add the pump work or you will subtract the pump work?
The pump work will be the energy difference at inlet minus outlet.
Inlet energy will be more or outlet?
energy will be less at inlet. Pump gives energy to the fluid, right? So it is
And
outlet
what about
minus.
friction energy?
Frictional energy will be always a positive quantity. So uh, it will be lost whenever the liquid is flowing.
Okay, so there is something which is called energy gradient line.
Yes, sir.
How that is related to Bernoulli equation?
It is a certain arrangement of the Bernoulli's equation. Like if we write it in the head form, then the terms we get, all the terms are called the energy gradient terms, and then we that is plotted and seen how the energy is varying across a pipe.
Chandrima, let me give you the feedback now. See, Chandrima, what I understand is you start with your BTech project, right?
Yes, sir.
And that BTech project they are going to ask you, and it is linked to the courses for which you are going for interview.
Yes.
So just revise your BTech project thoroughly, and every point there. I mean, what is new in that? What did you do in that? What is the industrial application for that? And how did you do that? Try to find out the answers to all those questions, right? And also this is linked to the fluid somewhere then, because whatever you are talking about the sticking behavior and also surface tension, he will start from there, and then he will start asking you questions related to that, right? So
Yes.
you need to revise that particular part. So I'll say your knowledge is good, that is for the fluid mechanics. You can answer the questions. I mean, capillary and surface tension, though here and there little bit mistakes you did, like surface tension actually is the property of the fluid. It does not depend upon angle of contact, but it is the reverse. Angle of contact depends upon the surface tension of the fluid. And capillary is a function of both surface tension and adhesive force. Adhesive force is between basically the surface and fluid. Cohesive force is between the molecules. Surface tension is all about cohesive force, and that is phenomena of the fluid only, not surface. There is a reason it is cohesive phenomena. So surface tension, if it is less, yes, spreading is better. Applications in paint, I was asking you, if surface tension decreases to a great extent, then paint will start flowing like water. Water sticks, but majority of water flows. Think of water is a paint. What happens? It will stick, but it will not make a layer, right? So we want paint to make layer also, thick layer, and at the same time spreading also. Similarly, all the things like blood should have surface tension sufficient to flow also and maintain the sticking behavior also. Like if you talk about Dettol, it should have better spreading, so low surface tension. Engineering, when you weld the material, welding electrode should have less surface tension, so that sticking or spreading is better. So all these are the application of surface tension. And then you could talk about capillary may the radius phenomena of the capillary and the radius of curvature. That is a very important. That is called, I think, some secant formula or something. Some formula is there related to that. So you cannot, I mean, cut the capillary and make the fluid basically flow, because the moment you cut it at particular height, the fluid goes down to that level, because the radius of curvature tends to become more, and hence the height falls. So that is a part. And yes, Bernoulli equation you try to remember in terms of head, otherwise it will be difficult for you to maybe explain. So P by rho g is called pressure head, V square by 2g is called kinetic head, and Z is called datum head. So P by rho g is basically pressure head. So then Z is the datum head, and V square by 2g is the kinetic head. If you go to the bottom of the tank, we want to find out what is the pressure there. So P by rho g, P is the pressure at the bottom of the tank, V is 0, Z is the depth. So according to that, we can calculate pressure in terms of Z also, hydrostatic pressure. So that is the way you can explain. The rest is okay. Fine, Chandrima?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Anything you want to ask?
Sir, which all portions should I improve?
That's what I think your level is good, but just be cautious when you answer. Think for a while and then answer the questions, because sometimes you can get lost in some of the questions when he tilt the questions.
Okay. And sir, I haven't studied fluid machinery properly. So if the questions is asked and they go into much depth, I don't know how much I'll be able to
Then you
answer.
very honestly said, sir, I'm sorry, sir, I'm not very confident in fluid machinery part.
Okay,
That's it.
okay,
Right? You
okay,
cannot, yeah. So you tell them very clear that fluid mechanics is your domain.
okay, okay,
Right?
sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.